In today's fast-paced world, a well-stocked pantry is not just about convenience. It's a cornerstone of preparedness and smart living. Hello, everybody, and welcome to SuttonsDaze. If you're new here, my name is Lisa. We are all about pantry preparedness. Today, we're going to discuss how you can stock your pantry like a pro, right? The things that you can consider putting into your pantry if they are things that you eat. If they are things that you will use, don't stock it just because I tell you to do it. If you don't eat it, don't stock it. It's that simple. But let's go through the list because we have a few things here and hopefully it will help you kind of take a look at your pantry and where you may have gaps or holes in your stock so that you can focus your intentions on different spaces that need to be attended. First, we're going to look at emergency or specialty items. That's a weird one to start with, Lisa. I know, but I'm here for you, okay? You want to look at things like non-perishable milk alternatives or powdered eggs, right? Those are your emergency preparedness kind of specialty foods. And if it fits, if it's something that you can do, if it's something that you believe that you will use, then it's definitely worth adding to your pantry. Because a lot of times these are either comfort foods in and of themselves, or they are the ingredients that you need to create the comfort foods. And comfort foods, you know, they make you feel better. The next one, beverages. Okay, so there's a few different ways to look at them. Water is queen, right? Okay, so water is definitely important. But if you are a coffee drinker, if you're a coffee drinker, make sure to stock up on extra coffee. If you're a tea drinker, make sure to stock up on extra tea, okay? If you get tired of just plain water and you use anything to flavor your water, stock up on some of those. It's an easy thing that doesn't take up a whole bunch of room. You want to rotate through it still, but having the extra beverages is a nice thing. You also want to consider what you're going to do to create them. So if it's coffee, okay, and there's a huge power outage, how are you going to make your coffee? You have to figure those things in there too. If you're looking for a quick boost or energy pick-me-up, you know, then your snacks are going to be a good thing to stock. And I'm not talking about Twinkies, even though, you know, rumor has it they last a really long time. But I'm talking about things like nuts and seeds and dried fruit, crackers, you know, that kind of thing. Stock up on those. They have different shelf lives and they have different ways of storage. Like nuts are always best frozen because they will go rancid over time if they are kept in your pantry. Dried fruit is fine. It's great. Your seeds, take a look at depending on what they are. If you're looking at crackers, trust me, I have vacuum sealed crackers until I am blue in the face. And I have never found one that doesn't taste like paint thinner a year later. Doesn't matter what kind of cracker it is. So, you know, depending on who's putting what out there that day, that's my experience. So don't overbuy them, but, you know, have enough for 3, 4, 5 months, something like that. If you use them a lot, if you use them regularly. Broths and stocks are so important for so many different things because you can make gravies and sauces and soups and stews. You can heat it up and drink it as it is. So definitely consider either making your own and canning it, which is my preferred method, or you can buy them at the store. It's all good. If you're going to buy them at the store, I would shoot for the low sodium version. I've seen just regular, I've seen low sodium, and I've actually seen no sodium. So depending on what your dietary restrictions are, those are great things to have. I know that I'm regularly at nighttime sipping on a cup of chicken broth. I love it. It's good. It's comforting. It's actually more comforting than a Twinkie. Okay, so it's a great thing to have stocked up in your pantry. Oils and vinegar. You may say, what? You know, but think about it here for a second, okay? Work with me. So olive oil, avocado oil, vegetable oil, whatever kind of oil, vinegars, regular vinegar, apple cider vinegar, balsamic vinegar, right? You can use all of those, not only for cooking, but for marinating, for creating dressings, you know. They're a great thing to have and they last a pretty long time. Your oils are typically good for a year to 2, depending, okay? Vinegar, I've never known vinegar to go bad. So Go ahead, stock it up if you use it. Next is baking and cooking essentials, because it's good. Okay, so if you bake, if you have any desire to bake, then the things that you bake with are necessary. You'll see that's my baking shelf up there, right? Where I have different varieties of baking chips or dried fruit, that kind of thing. Those are great to have on hand for when you want something. Back in the day, that was the only chocolate I would allow in my house, okay? Because I knew that I could just grab a couple and be completely satisfied instead of scarfing down a pint of ice cream. You know what I mean? But having those is very handy, along with your flour and your sugar and your salt, right? Baking powder, baking soda, super great things to have. Yeast, store it in your freezer. If it's not opened, store it in your refrigerator. If it has been opened, it'll last a really long time. And if you bake, that's one thing you don't have to worry about. And if you pick it up now, then you don't have to worry about it come the holiday. My favorite thing to stock ever, okay, your proteins. Proteins are a fantastic thing to stock. So whether you are canning them yourself, ugly chicken, ugly pork, ugly beef, perfect, okay? Even if they're not ugly, perfect. Great way if you're hot packing them. If you don't can, if you don't pressure can, then definitely look at the options available at the stores. They have the chicken, the pork, and the beef there also. Also, don't forget about tuna fish or mackerel or kippers or sardines, right? Those are all protein. They're fantastic. In addition to that, if you are not a meat eater, okay, then look at the different things that you can stock up on. Beans are fabulous, remarkably inexpensive, and just a great source of protein and fiber. There's lentils. You can't can them, but you can store them in a jar and then use them. They heat up really quick. That's super easy. And then if you are vegetarian, but you like that TVP or plant-based meats, there is no approved method to can that, but it's also pretty good on the shelf, depending on what kind, for quite a while. So check them out and see what you can store for a long term. Next is your canned or your jarred goods. Okay, so this, right? I have some items that I buy because I can't pass up the deal. I mean, these great big cans of tomatoes were like $1. So yeah, I'm going to get them because why not? I will use them for a lot of different things. That's probably one of the biggest things people use. A tomato-based sauce for your soups or your stews or your casseroles, chilies, everything, you know, there's just... we use a lot of it. So those are fantastic to have up there. Your canned soups, any of your, you know, commercially canned stuff. If you're a home canner, hello, if it's in a jar, it's a beautiful thing if it's canned safely. So definitely vegetables, fruits, jams, jellies, all of that. Stocking up on those, make sure that you have the comfort level that you need, along with the nutritional value that you need to get through a rough time. Grains and pastas. So don't come at me. I know if you can't eat them, don't eat them. Okay. Try seriously cutting back though. You don't need a, 4-cup serving of pasta. A half a cup to a cup is more than, sufficient. And that way you still get your flavor, but it's reduced. So try different things. The problem is there's no one fix for everybody. So I get it. Okay. But if you use pastas, grains, oats, rice, that kind of thing, then definitely those are so inexpensive to stock up on. And most of them will last a super long time. I'm talking years and years and years, okay? If stored properly, if stored under the right conditions. So airtight, just make them airtight. Get them out of the original box, put them into an airtight container, whether that is a canning jar, whether that is Mylar with an oxygen absorber, doesn't matter. Airtight container is the number one thing. If you put it in a Mylar and it has sharp points like some pastas do, I hear that it can break through the bag. It's not how I store it. I put it in jars. So if that's the case, you can put it in a paper bag and put the paper bag inside the Mylar and then an oxygen absorber. There's always a workaround. So those kinds of things are fantastic to keep around. We have a plethora of oatmeal here, and I never make oatmeal for the sake of oatmeal. I do make oatmeal cookies during the holidays, and I do make granola for Phil, so the oatmeal gets rotated through. It has a ton of different uses for everyone, okay? It's not just for oatmeal. There's a lot of different stuff. People mix it in with their ground meat for meatloaf. It's another filler instead of crackers, right? Oatmeal is fantastic. Grains are fantastic. If you're allowed to eat them, they're definitely worth stocking up on for the price. They're fantastic. Now, once you've got all of this done, right? Or you have the list and you're looking on your shelves and you're saying, okay, where do I start? Okay. It's pick a spot. Pick a spot and start there. You don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to make it happen overnight. This is something that is a lifestyle, okay? It's kind of like you're not going on a diet, you're making a lifestyle change. And it's a change for the better. It's making sure that you and yours are covered during any kind of an emergency as far as having sustainable, healthy food available to you. By regularly reviewing and replenishing your stock, rotating through it like you should, because you should never just buy it and set it on the shelf and stare at it. That is a huge waste of time and money. And that is like hoarding, okay? But if you put it up on your shelves and you work through it and you use it and you replenish it, then that is being prepared. And when you're prepared, you have ready, easy, delicious, go-to meals anytime you want them without getting into your car, without going to the store, without spending unnecessary money, because you're going to save a whole bunch of money just eating from your pantry. Then you can embrace the confidence that comes from being prepared like a pro, because you are. Now, my question for you. What is the one area that you feel that you need to focus on the most? Throw it in the comment section down below. And until next time, everybody, be safe. Stack it to the rafters, my friends.